And today we are talking about the 1997 film Love Jones, directed by Theodore Witcher. And I'm really excited because Love Jones is one of my favorite movies.
Me too.
It features one of my favorite crushes.
Oh,
Larissa
and
was
then
probably
say,
my
I was
was
gonna
probably my
say, I
first
thought you were
crush.
gonna say something about Nia Long, your
I have
favorite actress.
never I have never had a crush on Nia Long. She has
Okay,
always been one of my favorite actresses, however. But
no girl
yes.
crush.
No girl crush on Nia Long. I was probably maybe when I was younger, I was jealous of her because she was Will Smith's girlfriend in Fresh Prince. Might have been jealous. But you know, the conversations that are had about Love Jones really upset me. First of all, it is considered a cult classic.
It's not overrated.
I don't think I feel like in order to be a cult classic, I feel like if we are understanding Black culture as a cult or as a collective that is um that like isn't in the mainstream, then sure. But I just don't see I just feel like Love Jones is a Black classic.
Do you
To
think
call it a
cult
cult classic
is that offensive to you?
it's not offensive, it's just incorrect. I just feel
What?
like I feel like it's popular among Black people. Cult movies are not popular.
So what is a cult like a general cult classic?
I feel like now
Because
now
when
I
I
need
hear
to
that, I think of movies like Clueless or
see. I don't think Clueless is like I feel like that was a popular movie
so.
and
What
it
do
has a
people?
popular following.
So
Let
what
me
do people
see.
consider a cult classic?
Do you remember that movie? Was it called Joe's Apartment with all those roaches?
Oh, I never seen
But
or
do
heard
you
of
know
that
what I'm
movie.
talking about?
Not really.
Okay, well to me that's a cult classic.
I always I always thought that teen movies kind of were given the term cult classic, like teen movies that people loved.
Okay, a cult film or cult movie, also commonly referred to as a cult classic, is a film that has acquired a cult following. Cult films are known for their dedicated, passionate fan base, which forms an elaborate subculture, members of which engage in repeated viewings, dialogue quoting, and
Oh,
audience participation. That's everything Black. Like,
Mean
is Friday a
Mean
cult
Girls.
movie? Like to me, Mean Girls is just a popular movie. That's
Well,
not a
probably because
cult.
we like it though. So I'm trying to think of what would be a black mainstream movie, if
See,
there is
but
one.
also the question needs to be asked, what is a Black movie? Because to
Oh, now
me,
you're getting deep.
Men in Black is a Black movie to me.
Men in Black. Oh, with Will
Men in
Smith.
Black is a Black movie to me. I don't care what nobody say. Kiss the Girls is a Black movie to me. The Color Purple is a Black movie to me,
Oh yeah, that definitely is.
even though it was directed by a white man. The Color
Now,
Purple
was
is a
that a
Black
cult
movie to me.
classic? That has some quotables.
I don't.
That
I just
tons
that
of
is a
quotables.
main right now. That is a mainstream
I think
film.
there, even though it's very popular, there are a lot of people who haven't seen it. They heard about it, but haven't really
They not
sat
Black.
down.
They not Black. I don't care what they are not Black.
I mean, that's a hard movie to actually sit down and watch the whole thing from beginning to end. That's a challenge.
It is very much so a challenge, but I'm just telling you, if you have not seen The Color Purple, I would assume if you don't know about it
No, I think
and
people know about it. They know the references. They see the memes. But to say, have you actually sat and watched it from beginning to end? I don't think a lot of people have done that. There's a
I
few. There's a few. There's I
how
guess
old do
a
you think
group
those
of
people
people.
are? How old do you think those people are?
A lot. Okay, so I think depends on generation. Definitely under 30. I wouldn't. I don't think
Yeah,
they're
under
not
30
sitting
then.
down.
Like it's the kids who don't watch what would it be called? Like regular television, like the kids, because I just remember The Color Purple coming on like what, ABC,
Oh
NBC, like
yeah, it was
it's
always
just
on TV. But the thing is, did you actually sit and watch it? I did, but a lot
I
of people
you
probably
know the kid
probably
sat
did.
there and watched
A
it.
lot of people just turned the channel. They didn't sit and watch
I
Color
need to.
Purple.
I see. This is we got to get the data research team on this because I need the numbers. I need the percentages of the people, and I need to know where they at, and I need to know what's going on because I need to see them in my office. But other conversations that were being had about Love Jones is that it was the first film that featured Black culture that wasn't about the hood. In so many words, that's what a lot of people said. And that really angered me because speaking of The Color Purple, you're asking me to forget about The Color Purple. She's Gotta Have It, School Days. I've never seen Purple Rain, but was Purple Rain about the hood?
No, it's about Prince. It's about his life.
I figured as much. So, but I didn't know like, so Purple Rain, you're forgetting about that. You're forgetting about Coming to America. You're forgetting about Waiting to Exhale. You're forgetting about the house party movies. You're forgetting about Daughters of the Dust, Boomerang, A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, The Preacher's Wife, The Nutty Professor. And I would argue that all of these are somewhat popular film in that the New York Times would have known about them and may have done a review of them. So yeah, in the mid and early 90s and the late 90s, you do have Boys in the Hood. You do have Menace to Society. You got Juice. You got Above the Rim. You have a lot of hood films. But I feel like Black people, when they thought about themselves in film, they didn't limit themselves to like the South Central, Compton, John Singleton era, like Spike Lee is a thing. But I will say that I feel like the Love Jones does do something for Black dramedies, because I feel like we see a wave of that coming after Love Jones. Because you see The Best Man, you see Two Can Play That Game, you see Brown Sugar, you see people who
Love
are
and Basketball was after
Love and Basketball. You see Black people who are in these more so creative fields, people who are not struggling financially. You see a lot of that, and you see the main focus is the love story. So I'll give them that.
Yeah, the New York Times article you sent me, they called them bougie. That made me
child. Like when they go to that club and they're stepping, she calls that like what, a jitterbug. I was like, girl, what?
Like there's no mention of gangs and all the other Chicago violence. I'm like, really?
Bitch.
That's the first thing you thought about?
That's you exactly. And then she says something to the effect of like, they go to this bar where they go and listen to like beat poets. Spoken word is a thing. Spoken word is a very Black thing. Use the language of the people in the review. I mean, she just was not establishing her credibility here. We don't trust her. She is not, she can't be trusted. Girl, no.
Well, since you mentioned it, have you ever gone to a spoken word cafe or?
I have. What's the one in Atlanta?
I've been
Apache?
to one. It was in North. Okay, I didn't go to that one. I went to one in North Decatur.
I went to Apache. I'm not a spoken word girl. I have said this. But I will support, like, I'm in a writing program now, and I am a fan of the spoken word kids here, or the slam poets, as some people might say. I am a legit fan, but I don't want to go to a club. I don't want to go to a.
You don't want to snap your fingers?
I do not. I don't want to snap my fingers. But I don't want to go to a club where the music isn't the main course.
Oh.
That's just me. I'm not gonna I don't want to. I
The
don't
one
want
I
to go
went to, it
there.
didn't feel like a club because everyone was sitting down. It was like tables and chairs, and it just seemed like there should have been food. I don't remember if there was or not. I don't think there was like real food, but it seemed like a a dinner show. That's what it gave me.
I mean, I will go to dinner theater, but there, I guess it's also probably because I guess it's something that's a part of my professional life and
Mm-hmm.
my academic life. I'm not going to be at ease there. I don't, but I say that and I would like for film to be a part of my professional life and I can go see a movie all day. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't know. For me, I feel like it requires a lot of judgment too. Like
Oh, you can't just sit back and listen to the poetry.
if I sit back and listen to the poem, I'm immediately gonna be. I mean, even after the young lady um, gosh, I'm forgetting her name, but the at the inauguration, the inaugural poem,
Oh, Amanda.
Amanda Gorman. I was sitting there like going, see that word choice. I do okay.
Oh,
Oh, that
you're
was good right there. That was great right there. She could have said that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that
yeah.
when I'm chilling. I don't want to do that. Like I guess in my mind, I'm immediately thinking about the workshop space. I'm like, man, if we would have got this poem in workshop, what would we have done with it? I ain't trying to do that when I'm chilling.
I just don't need to be there.
But they call me brother to the night. And right now, I'm the blues in your left thigh.
Nina and Darius, they meet at the spoken word spot. Darius does this impromptu poem about Nina, and they they don't exchange numbers. I think she just thanks him for the poem, and they just leave. I don't know if it's the next day or a couple days later. She's at a record store, and she runs into Darius's friend, who was also at the club, who owns or works at the record shop. And Darius comes in, and he sees her there. Nina buys a record and leaves. Darius gets her address and phone number off the check that she writes for her purchase. Now, is there anything a guy has done to get your attention that was borderline creepy? Because when Darius showed up at her door, I don't know if like call the police, but maybe she liked him, so she didn't call the police. Like, is there something that
There's never been anything like stalkerish that has happened to me ever at all. Now, there have been people who have done things to get my attention that angered me quite a bit, but not to get my attention when they didn't know me. They knew me very well and they knew what would anger me. So they did something that would get my attention. But it's, I haven't had anyone to, resort to stalker behavior in order to get my attention. No. But I don't. How did you feel about that scene? How did you feel about?
It was super creepy.
Yeah.
How you show up at her spot and just knock on the door? Really? Like, I'm surprised she didn't call the police.
I knew she wasn't gonna call the police because I knew she liked him. Because when she left the record store, she turned around and I could tell she was thinking, is he going to come out that record store and give it attempt number 2? No? Okay. I'm just going to go home.
Well,
but that doesn't warrant him. That doesn't give him the right to just show up. But yeah, Darius, I mean, he just, he didn't understand boundaries. When we, even in the first, when they first meet each other and he, goes up there and performs that piece about not love. She
I have a lot
is
of issues with Darius. They'll come up through this conversation.
like he is not worried about, consent is not a conversation that we were having in the 90s. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Sheila would have lost her job.
Exactly.
He ain't right.
So one of my issues that when I watched this before, I always thought this was a nice love story.
Mm-hmm.
But watch it again.
Oh, draining.
One issue I have is that they never define the relationship. So the whole time they're like, oh, well, Darius, we're just kicking it. We're just chilling. Nina, she's just broke up with her ex, so she doesn't feel like she's in a place to start a new relationship. But this is why I don't understand how this is a love story. But anyways,
I feel like they are having conversations about their partnership with everyone else. Nina is talking to Josie.
Yeah. But even then in the cab ride, she's like, no, it's not serious. It's just, he's not serious.
Mm-hmm.
And even Darius with his friends, he's like, no, like we're just kicking it. It's just nothing.
I mean, they're both lying. They both lying. And even when they get together, they're lying about what it is that they're doing. And, what's her ex-fiance's name?
Oh, I don't forgot. I know his real name, Khalil Kane.
Well, Khalil, when he comes back in the picture and she's stuck between, living with him in New York and relishing in this budding relationship with Darius, even that conversation is like tense in that no one is being honest
with
at
her
all.
Darius?
Yeah, when she says, I need to go to New York to figure some things out. And he's like, oh, it's a dude up there in New York. And she's like, I just have to, see where things go. I just have to give it the attention that it needs. I feel like that would have been the appropriate time to discuss what's going on. But I think she was waiting for him to stop her.
But
which is a dangerous thing. She shouldn't have done that.
But then even when she explained, she was like, I'm letting you know because I don't want to play any games. I'm not trying to play games. And he was just like, well, it's okay. Like, it's just, he just kind of shrugged it off like they weren't anything serious.
Well, I think she was waiting on him to tell her that they were.
And
which is unfortunate because I feel like the way in hindsight, I'm hoping that she understands that had she gone into that conversation saying, I need to know what it is that you and I are doing so that I can make the right moves here. We're having a good time, but do you see this going anywhere? Because if so, and maybe that doesn't sound all that attractive to somebody, but that's honest.
She should have been like, what's Sylvie? I have a fiance.
She didn't have one at that time. She was an ex-fiance. She couldn't even find her ex-fiance to give the ring back. Damn.
Should have been like Sylvie and Sylvie's Love. I have a fiance. Come on now. Why did you pick me? I have a fiance, for God's sake.
I also have some other unfinished business that I need to take care of.
Some dude.
So when do you know you're over an ex? So does she need to go to New York? Because they're in Chicago. So it's not like, it's kind of far. I mean, it's a train ride, but it's not, down the street or the next city over.
It's not.
So do you think that it's necessary?
I would like to cut Nina some slack. Because to answer your question, no, I don't think it's necessary, but it's complicated in her case because I feel like it's difficult to make the right decisions when you're in transitional spaces. And both of them are, because I've thought about this and I've been thinking about this for the past 20 years, okay?
Man, I'm head on back over to the office to get the rest of my things. I can't believe I'm finally up out of there. Hey, but y'all don't worry about me.
Darius is leaving his job to focus on writing his book.
Mm-hmm.
Nina is fired from her job.
Yeah.
Darius and his relationship with Felicia has ended. And you can tell from the dialogue in the film that this was an important woman in his life. That relationship is over. Nina is just getting over, like she just recently breaks off things with her fiance. She's moving to a new place. Darius has always been in Chicago. She's moving to a new space. So even though both of them are in the space, are in this like out of bounds new space, she has really been forced into a transitional space. Had things been going well with her fiance, she probably would be on her way to getting married. Had things been going well at her job, she probably would have still been there. She's subletting an apartment. Like nothing is stable for her right now. So sometimes when you're in spaces like that where you don't know where your next check is coming from, you don't know where you're going to be living. You don't know. I'm not saying that she was in, she was financially insecure. I'm not saying that at all, but I do think that there's a precarity to your finances when you don't have a steady gig. So when you're in that headspace, sometimes you're not making the right decision. So I can understand her going back to something that's stable. I don't have to work with this fiance. I know this man.
You think she went to try to see if they could, I guess, work again? Their relationship could work? Or
I think she went because she, like a lot of people, feel like you owe something to a relationship that has lasted a long time.
That's true.
And when you have been with someone, or even when you've been with like not even in a romantic space, but I don't want to leave this job. I've been here for 10 years. I feel like I owe it to myself to see this thing through. It's like, no, I don't.
It's like over.
Yeah. I think that people exploit time in that way.
All these years together, you don't know why you're here.
All we have, Marvin, is all of these years. And it's just not enough.
So they kind of go from this non-defined relationship to, I guess, I don't know, they're just lying to themselves.
Yeah.
Can you go from, I guess, just a casual relationship to a serious one?
Maybe, but even in their case, do you feel like their situation was ever casual?
They were lying to themselves.
Yeah.
They kept saying it, but I guess they just weren't being honest.
Yeah.
Well, for me, what I've realized about myself is that words matter.
Mm-hmm.
So I have been in a situation years ago where this guy was like, Darius, oh, just come chill, hang out, blah, blah, blah. So in my mind, we're chilling, hanging out, blah, blah, blah. And then 6 months later, he says relationship. I'm like, what?
Wait, excuse me?
And then he was like, but we do everything people in relationships do. And like, he had a point. But I realized this years later that words are important to me. If you don't give me the language up front, I'm not gonna take it serious. I don't care like what we do. Like I need language. Like if I was Nina and Darius is just, no matter what he's doing, if he's saying, oh, we're just casual, it's no big deal. I'm thinking he really thinks it's no big deal.
But he didn't say that to Nina.
Well,
until he go ahead.
When she told him he was going to New York,
But that's what I'm saying. That's the only time he said that. I feel like they were doing the work of building a relationship. And then the only reason he said that was to save face.
Right. But for me, if I was Nina, once he says that, in my mind, I'm like, this isn't, like, he's not serious about me. That's how I
But
would
you
take
just told them you was going to be with another dude. So you not, if someone says to me, if someone says to me, hey girl, I'm about to go be with my ex-partner, just for a little bit because I have to see where things are going. I'm like, dang, am I not, am I not bringing it to you strong enough for you? Because I'm hoping, and this is silly of me, but I'm hoping that I'm your world right now. I'm hoping that if we are under the assumption that this ain't a polyamorous situation,
True.
we into monogamy right now. This is monogamous thing going on. So if you are coming to me and telling me that I have to go and explore things in this relationship that I can't compare to right now because you've been with this other person for a long time, I'm assuming, that you're willing to uproot your life. And those words mean a lot to me too. So I'm like, I don't know. Okay. I guess we are kicking it. I guess
then I would be like, Sylvie, I'm engaged.
You knew that you knew that I was engaged. You knew
you could have kissed me. I have a fiance. My God.
You shouldn't have made me them cheese omelets. This is going to be Darius's fault. I can see how this conversation is going.
Oh, because Darius. Okay. So then Nina gets back from New York, and then, well, her and her ex, obviously it's not working out. She realizes
because of the toasted oats.
Hey, where are my toasted oats?
Oh, I finished the box this morning.
Oh, you couldn't eat the damn Captain Crunch, could you?
Oh, please.
He was pissed about them toasted oats with them whack ass cabinets. Boy, bye.
So she realizes that her and her ex, there's nothing there. So she's back on the train, back to Chicago.
There's something there. It's called trash.
She sees Darius out and about with another girl,
Lisa,
which Darius is trash for.
What? What was he supposed to do?
I mean, like, how long? Well, about this movie doesn't give you any time frames, so I'm thinking she was.
But even if it was the next day, you went over there to be with somebody to jump in a relationship. We ain't gonna do Lorenz now. We ain't gonna do Lorenz.
So Darius is kicking it with another young lady.
Mm-hmm.
So Nina decides to kick it with Darius's friend.
So wrong.
Now, okay.
Wrong.
I didn't think it was wrong until I thought about it, and I'm like, if Darius isn't saying, I want to date you, I want us to be in a relationship, I want to be serious with you, she can't be mad if someone else comes and is like, I want to take you out on a date.
You mean he can't be mad if someone else comes and says that?
Yeah, because he didn't.
Well, yeah, he can't. But I can be upset if you're bringing that to my friend group. If Darius asked Josie out, I feel like Nina would have felt betrayed by Darius and Josie alike. Why are you going out with Wood? You don't even like him. Y'all are not even compatible. He drives a hearse, meaning the relationship is dead on arrival.
Oh, that's your car, right?
No, the hearse, the gray one. That's my car.
When they were in that hearse on the way to the little house party that he didn't tell her anything about.
Yeah, he was wrong for that.
When they were driving, I was like, gosh, just the setup. They couldn't put her in a booster chair because the height difference is just ridiculous. Like it just felt unsettling to my eye. But then I thought this is obvious. This is on purpose. Like, not only are they in a car that transports something that is not living, like, so this relationship will never thrive because it's dead. Like, it came dead, you know, but they're not compatible in any way, and they're not supposed to be visually compatible at all.
Yeah, they show up at the house party. Nina's embarrassed. I would be too.
And if she knew, and if she didn't feel guilty, she wouldn't have been embarrassed. If
True.
if Nina was dating Bob in a, you know, from who worked in an accounting firm, and she ran into Darius at the grocery store, there would have been less embarrassment.
Yeah. So they show up at the party. Obviously, Darius is there. And Nina storms outside. She's mad at Wood and like, take me home now. And he's like, no. So then she goes off and she just walks off. So Darius is like, where's Nina? And then he goes off and follows her. This is the only time they kind of have like a conversation.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're mad at each other, but they don't know why. And then Nina finally says, you should have just told me you were seeing somebody else. Which again, now I guess they're both at fault because no one is defining anything.
Yeah, like all you had to do is tell me you were seeing somebody else. How did I know that you were even back from New York?
Right.
And willing to establish a relationship with me? What call did you get? It just felt like
she wasn't back with her ex. Like,
exactly. I just wish, and you know, in an interview that the director did, he's saying that, you know, it's the first film, so there were some problems with the script. I wonder, like, when you workshop this with your peers, you know, what was the take with some of the women? Because I feel like, you know, sometimes like Nina is just being so unrealistic here. Like she's being just
No, I think the unrealistic part was dating his friend.
I feel like that is realistic in that I want to get your attention.
Okay.
I want to get your attention, but to make this make sense, because to me, I'm like, damn, Nina, like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what? I feel like, you know, maybe she could have been attempting to get into Darius's spaces. Maybe she could have called him. Maybe she could have, you know, and then he turned away her advances because he was dealing with Lisa, or he turned them away because he missed the call because he was with Lisa, or he, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just felt like, Nina, you did not make the attempt to be with this man. So how was he supposed to know that he wasn't supposed to dating anyone else?
No, I do think this poor communication is very realistic. Like I'm not mad at the script for that. I think it's very, very normal to have poorly communicate, to not say what you feel, to be mad and don't know why you're mad, and then just blurt out, I saw you with another girl, and he'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? I can totally see that happening in real life.
Yeah, you're right.
So then how they end up back together?
She calls him and says, you want to go step?
Oh, yeah. Right. And then she mentions that this was a real date.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I took you dancing before. And she's like, bumping and grinding at a reggae club is not a real date.
Those dancing scenes when they're in the reggae club and he's just standing there, like watching her sway back and forth. It felt like, let your guard down, Darius, and dance with her. Like they were never in that scene. It just felt like it took him a while to join a relaxed space with her, which feels very, I don't know if it's an exact replica of the relationship, but that tells me like we're not on the same page here. We're not connected. We're not agreeable right now. And then when they go stepping, you could see like they're not as natural as those other couples on that floor who look like, honey, we win competitions when we step. We know what we doing. You know what I'm saying? We've been partners for a while. It takes them a minute to get into the groove of things, which is a reflection of the relationship. Like it's taking us a minute to find our groove, but it doesn't take all that long, you know. And so then after that, that's when you get the montage of them running through the park and having dinner and going to the club, going to the spoken word club together. I liked how they used the dancing to mimic where they're at in the relationship
that they never defined. Because they went on a date after what, like 3 months, and then they broke up, came back together, and now they're on their first date 3 months later. So when they go back to her place and she wants Darius to sleep on the couch, do you think, is it possible to go backwards?
Because they had already been intimate. And yeah. I feel like you ain't got to do nothing you don't want to do.
True.
You know, but I don't understand the purpose of having him be in the home. Like he could have just went home.
Yeah. Because like, did he live far?
Do you see what I'm saying about the unreasonable? Like you could have just went. Why didn't you just go home? Like, was there a monsoon outside?
Yeah, they could have explained that better. It could have been like a storm.
Yeah, like what?
You know what? I don't want you know it. It's storming really bad. You can just stay on the couch, you know.
Exactly. Tell me what's going on, because I don't know. Maybe that's a deleted scene, child.
Maybe. When she went to New York the first time to see her ex, she was also there to, I guess, look for some job opportunities with her photography. And so she goes back to Chicago, but then she gets a job opportunity in New York. So now she's off back in New York, working, not with the ex.
And a year goes by.
So even then, Josie calls Darius and tells him Nina is going to be on the train. And he has attitude, like, and you're telling me this because she was like, I thought you might want to know, and see her off.
What was the point of Josie? Josie also encouraged her to date Wood. Just tell me the point of Josie. Just tell me the point.
She's a friend.
Ciao. All right.
Remember we had the conversation of people having friends. Well, we said Monica from Love and Basketball had no friends.
None. No, but anyway, Darius had all the real friends.
I know. So Nina's been in New York working, and she ends up, a year goes by, she ends up back in Chicago, goes to the same club, spoken word club, and looking for Darius, but she doesn't see him. But he's there, she just doesn't see him. And she reads a poem. So the end of the night, of course, Darius is like, Nina. She's like, Darius. And the rain is falling. And then they hug and they kiss in the rain. And that's how the movie ends. Nice, happily ever after movie.
I was watching Batman Returns, which is my favorite Batman. I really love Tim Burton. Okay. And I really love Michael Keaton. Okay. Michael Keaton is Bruce Wayne. Michelle Pfeiffer is Catwoman.
That's when it came out in 94?
90, some long time ago. Okay. You know, for much of the movie, they don't know that, you know, the other's alter ego. They don't know. Selena doesn't know that Bruce Wayne is Batman. Bruce Wayne doesn't know that Selena is Catwoman. And so they go on this date at his house, but it ends prematurely. And they meet again at this Christmas party. And he says to her, you know, they're dancing, and he says, why did you come here tonight? And she says, oh, well, you go first. And he says, to see you. Like immediately, like before she could even get her question out, he says, to see you. And I just adore moments like that where it's, you know, I'm not worried about my pride right now. I'm just going to be honest with you. I know what you want to hear, and I'm going to go ahead and give it to you, because not only is it true, but I'm not worried about how I look. I'm not worried about looking like a chump right now. I came here to see you, you know? And when Nina and Darius are under that bridge and she says, "How are we going to do this? I don't know. I live in New York. I don't care. Like, I ain't worried about that." Like, girl, like, before she can get anything, I don't know how we're going to do it. I live in New York. I don't care. I ain't worried about that.
This is exhausting because now he had like a whole year.
Well,
now
I mean,
he wants to.
We cannot be crying over lost time. It's like,
True. Well, I am happy that Nina was able to get her career going.
yes.
Because when we meet her, she got fired from her job, and then she goes to New York with her ex, and he's kind of like,
You don't have to
not
work.
really supportive. Yeah, don't have to work. And she's just like, but I'm not. This is not the type of life I want.
Yeah.
And then she goes back to Chicago, trying to figure things out. So I'm glad that we see her with an established job, a job that she likes, that she's not just following a man and just being like, okay, I'm just going to be with you, and whatever work I can find, I'll just do it. I'm happy she got her dream job and her love.
Hey y'all, hope you enjoyed the show. Hit us up on Instagram at Curry Gumbo. Hope to see you next week. Bye.
See you guys soon.
Later, alligator.